Carried, Carol. For 082-2015, it's considering the purchase of one, what's 14 GPW, what's that mean?
Should be 14,000.
Okay, flat deck trailer at a cost of $5,410.
This was on the budget.
So I'll make a motion to approve.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. On 083-2015, it's considered the purchase of a 9,990 GVW trailer from Tom's Equipment at a price of $4,738.
So I'll make the motion. Second.
Second.
Do you have to, solicitor, do I have to abstain from this?
What's the issue?
You weren't paying attention, I thought you.
Tom's Equipment, that's good. Yes,
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. It's not my company. For 084-2015, it's for,
She just got it.
You got a 7-second
we're safer like that.
It's the heat in here. I don't go to myself here for people nodding off. It's the heat. It's really horrible in here.
Are you hot?
Yes.
Well, they locked us out of the thermostat, so.
Somebody's back there fanning himself.
Who has the key? Then everybody jumps at once. We need to figure that out. It is fun.
All right, for 084-2015, for our public works material, we participate with the Washington County Joint Municipal Purchasing Council, and the pipe and aggregate cost, as you see, is there. Any questions?
No.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Carol, as listed there, just include that bid sheet. For 085-2015, for our regular monthly meeting minutes of the March 2nd, 2015.
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. For 086-2015, it's for the minutes of the special meeting of Monday, March 16, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. For 087-2015, it's for our general fund invoices from March 1st to March 31st, 2015. Moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No.
Carol, please. What about new business?
Okay.
What's this?
I had this put on to discuss the occupancy and right-of-way by non-utility entities. There was a situation where a company come in and asked for actual going under one of our township roads or crosscuts, okay? And if it's a public utility, that's one thing. But a private company or a contractor or something, we ought to know about it. The supervisors didn't know about it. I didn't know about it. I don't know if anybody else did. And whether we make this in the form of a motion or a policy, I think that the supervisors need to be notified before any of this happens when it's something that's not a public utility. Because the public utilities do have the right. I mean, other townships actually have an ordinance for this that I think down the road, whenever we look at our gas and oil ordinance, it needs to be reviewed at that time. I mean, I think Chris is going to have to look at that and look at our gas and oil ordinance and see what really needs to be done in the future with it. I mean, there's some things that, since Act 13, that Roberta Schrapp went over with us and said that we couldn't do, which you could do. I don't know whether we'll be able to say what's left of that ordinance or we'll have to scrap it and start over, Chris. But I mean, I think this all ties together. But I think right now we need to start with the fact that whether we do this in a motion or policy, basically the supervisors, before we can get an ordinance in place somewhere down the road, supervisors need to be notified if there's going to be an application for a permit.
Don, is this run past Dan and Joe and Gateway prior to any permits being issued?
No. There's no need to. We have an easement, an encroachment agreement that's in place that we follow. as Mr. Schrader had indicated though,
An agreement with them.
with public utilities, because we, the township, cannot restrict public utilities from being in our right of way. We can only provide means and methods by which we can permit them to be in our right of way. When a non-public utility or private company comes to the township and requests access under our possession in our right of ways, there's no method to deal with that. What other municipalities have done is they have adopted access agreements or easement agreements, and they will enter into essentially a contract for that line that will provide, among other things, a fee for inspection and review, in addition to assuring that there's future maintenance down the road. That's generally why you will not give a private individual access under your roadway. Say, for an example, there's a proper sewer line that someone wants to put under the roadway. If that homeowner were to run out of money and the line's broken, nothing would get done. So that's why the township engages in the public utility agreements for use in the right of way. And we also restrict private individuals from accessing our right of way. However, these companies, and there's more and more are asking for access. We have to provide a method by which we can allow, or I don't know that we can disallow. That would be something Chris would have to advise the board.
Well, first of all, I'd like to see a copy of the agreement that we have with utility companies. Do you have that?
It's more of an
It's
application.
just an application and
You
permit.
said that we have an agreement.
Well, it's our agreement essentially is our permit form that they have to come in and fill. They essentially are asking the township for permission to enter our right of way, and we do that by a permit application.
Okay, well, I'd like to have a copy of that.
Okay.
And then, why should anyone else be any different?
Well, because they don't have public utility status. They're not controlled by the PUC.
So, what's the difference?
Major difference, just like I explained. If a private company exists on your right of way, there's no assurance that they will come and even repair.
Well, how is public utility how is that going to do anything for us?
Well, for example, if we know Columbia Gas and we gave Columbia Gas permission to go on our right of way, and within a year, actually there's a 2-year maintenance procedure or maintenance provision for their excavation with their.
Provision with whom?
With whoever the utility company is. For this example,
You said Columbia Gas. So
we'll use Columbia Gas. Columbia Gas bores under our roadway. About a year later, there's subsidence. It causes damage to the surface of our roadway. We go back to Columbia Gas. They are responsible for maintaining and improving that back to the surface, improving the surface of the roadway back to its original condition.
what does that have to do with there being a utility?
Because the law restricts us from prohibiting them, the utilities, from using our right of ways. In other words, we can't deny them. We can only
So you're
regulate
saying then you
them.
want to be able to restrict others?
It just depends upon the situation. You want to be able to know what's going on when somebody's going to go into it. They're just going to issue a permit to let it go, and you don't have any idea what's happening. I mean, that's what's happened already, and we need to resolve that it doesn't happen.
Where is it happening already?
It's already happened on a square already,
Where? What happened?
right by the impoundment. There was a permit issued. See, you don't even know about it.
I
You don't
do
even
know about it. I want you to say it.
It was underneath Swihart Road by the impoundment for a water line.
Okay.
Now, the fact is that we need to be able to ask questions about it. It's not that you're going to say no to them, it's just the fact that you have to be able to know what's going on, and you have to be able to ask questions and have them answered. Did you know about it? I mean, utility status for the companies like Columbia Gas or an electric company or something is different.
I don't see how it's different.
We should know about it. How did you know about it and I didn't?
I don't know. How did you know?
I finally found out whenever I saw the review.
I don't remember. I don't remember. But I
That's why we
heard-
need, but
I
that's
heard
why
he
we
was
need,
complaining about it.
exactly, that's why we need to be able to review it when there's a private company or a private individual.
Why, would anything have been done different?
I don't know.
Did they get a permit, or were they going to be denied because it was a gas company?
Well, it's,
This is about restricting gas companies.
no, it isn't. It's about making sure you know what's going on in your township.
Well, we seem to know what's going on in our township.
Maybe you do, but everybody else doesn't always find
Well,
out.
but you do.
Ladies and gentlemen, the jury exhibit A. Really, to start
Make a
with,
motion or
Well, not yet, but if Bruce would look at some model ordinance from our association and get them to see some that you might be able to run hand in hand with our applications for utilities and get it to Chris, and maybe he can help us with it once. He doesn't have to research it, I think he needs to just get some model ordinances in hand.
Right, and I'd like to have some of those copies, Bruce, when you do it.
Sure.
Thank you.
In the meantime, let's just make it a policy until this happens, that the supervisor informed of any permits that are going to be issued.
I know for Peters, North Shore, Mount Pleasant, and Robinson Townships, I believe, all have access type agreements, yes, so.
Well, I don't know why we have to worry about it, because we're not allowing any drilling in our township anyway.
All right.
I just want to make sure that, this is brought forward in a public meeting, not in this little 10-minute discussion. If we're going to have a discussion about this ordinance or changes in what you're doing now, because I can't believe that you don't have some that causes them to notice the township for any kind of infringement on the right-of-way. You have to do it for any sewer extension, any private sewer extension. I've done it on the top of Church Hill. So I mean, the township's been noticed. I don't understand why you're saying there's no notice. There's always a notice.
Some companies do call. We have an
Well,
application.
you have to have one. You have to have one call. You have to have a lot of things going on. I don't understand.
Right, but we have a permit application for utilities, they fill it out. It'll probably just extend that to private companies too, which they should be entitled to.
But
Well, you gotta figure out,
there's no,
what you want the procedure is. If it's an 8-inch pipe, are you gonna put steel casing under there? You gonna be twice the size of the pipe?
That's what we wanted in the model ordinance.
And that's for each individual situation is handled individually as to what they're doing. There are different things that need to be looked at.
Anytime you go on a road, that's the end. Steel casing is twice the size of the pipe you put on the road. Anything.
All right, we'll get those ordinance, Bruce, and start circulating them, please. We'll see where it heads.
Can I go on?
Oh, yes.
I had asked for this, but it didn't end up on the agenda for some reason. I think that we need to advertise when the process of updating our comprehensive